Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Game Dev Tycoon and the highly anticipated episode 60. So I'm sure there's a handful of you guys out there who have been waiting for 3 years for this episode to actually come out, but the rest of you are left to wonder, Nero, what the heck is Game Dev Tycoon and why are we already on episode 60? So a bit of a history lesson. Back in 2014, I started a Let's Play of Game Dev Tycoon, which is a business simulation game. Essentially what you do is you play a game developer who's working out of his garage, and the goal of the game is to make a bunch of video games and run your own video game company. It starts you off back in the 80s, so you start developing for like the Commodore 64, and you get to go through the entire history of the video game industry. You start off, as I said, with very early PCs, and you get some of the early Nintendo consoles, then you start working in some handheld stuff, and some of the early PlayStations and Xboxes, till eventually you're in the future where you're making your own consoles and your games for those consoles. You can even make your own PCs with the help of mods. There's a lot you can actually do with this game. The final episode for this series went live on October 9th of 2014, and I never actually gave this game a proper ending. I just kind of stopped uploading, despite this being my most popular Let's Play ever. Every single episode of this series has between 10 and like 20,000 views. A couple episodes are well over 100,000 views. It's absolutely absurd, so I thought I owe it to the people that did watch this series back in the day to go back, revisit it, and of course give it a proper ending, and that's what we're going to be doing here in today's video. So here we are back inside Game Dev Tycoon. For the first time in over 3 years, I actually had to go and reinstall a bunch of mods that I used back in the day, because otherwise the game might not have actually booted up properly, and I was really worried that we were going to lose like all of our progress, and my save was essentially going to be corrupted. So I installed all the same mods I had back in the day, and I thought we would start the episode off here by looking at some of the first games I actually put together. This is going to bring back a lot of memories for you guys. I know it has for me. The very first game we put together was Go Fast Car Game. Terrible name. It was a racing simulation game for the PC. It cost me $39,000 to make, but we had a profit of $94,000, which was a pretty good success for my very first game, and it helped me fund the rest of my games that we have here at NEROPOLIS, which is the name of my game company. The second game was Jimmy John's Dungeon Adventure. Terrible reviews, 2.75 rating. I lost money on it. Terrible game. Then we had Stalingrad, a military action game, which had decent reviews. And then our first big one was actually Invasion of the Green Guys, a UFO adventure game. It had a rating of an 8. It gave us a nice profit. I was pretty happy about that. And then the big blockbuster, Murder, Nero Wrote. You're going to notice a trend here throughout the names of the video games we actually put together. Most of the time, I incorporated either my name or like the word cinema into like every single title of like every game that we ended up making. And it was actually a lot of fun because back then I really worked with the chat to make games. Like in the comments of every episode, people would leave ideas for video games, and I would put together those video games and see how they would actually do. And yeah, this was actually a lot of fun. We made Pearl Harbor, Go Fast Truck Game, which is a sequel to Go Fast Car Game, of course. Peasant's Life, a medieval RPG. Go Fast ATV game, which was for the Super NES, did not exactly sell very well. Super Mega Awesome Space Adventure, a 9.5. That game was a classic. It netted me $2.4 million. That was a blockbuster. Murder Nero Red, which is a sequel to Murder Nero Wrote. Capture Berlin, Super Mega Awesome Space Adventure 2. I assume that was a sequel. Here we started working on games for the N64. Big Mother Truckers, that was an awesome game. Murder Nero Witnessed, Of Knights and Men, a medieval RPG, and these are some of the early games that we had. Now, and this may actually take me a second, the Nero Scrolls, a medieval RPG, Murder Nero Smelled, Medal of Nero, Modern Warfare, the Nero Scrolls 2, Whiterun, Nero Dungeon Master, Medal of Nero, Modern Warfare 2. Wow, terrible ratings for that. That came out for the PC, the Xbox 360, and the PlayStation 3. Just had terrible ratings. It barely earned me any profit whatsoever. The Nero Scrolls 3, the Neroborn, Dr. Nero. Oh, this is taking me back, guys. I know for people that didn't watch this Let's Play, this may not actually bring you back all that much, but for me, it's really taking me back. And now I'm going to skip ahead till we get to the most recent games I actually put together. Alright, that took a while, but here we are with the final game that we ended up making for this playthrough. Neromon NNE version, which is obviously a play on Pokemon X and Y. We also had Legend of Cinema, Nero's Awakening, Kerbal Nero Program. It's funny looking at these games that were like relatively new back in 2014 when this series was made. Nero Isolation, Nero Lands 2, Nero Effect, Nero the Builder, Go Fast Car Game Remastered. Of course, you have to remaster some games. Nero's 101. Nearthstone. A fantasy RPG here. So this actually came out for NEROWare. I think I don't have one of the mods I actually had installed. So I actually made my own PC called NEROWare, and I think that's why the image isn't actually showing up in the background for these games. I don't think I have that PC mod actually installed. So let's go ahead and back out here. So how's the game actually played? You guys may be sitting here wondering, Nero, like, what do we actually do here? Like, what all goes into the game? So what we're going to do here is we are going to develop ourselves a brand new game. This would be our 98th game, for crying out loud. How many games at this point? It's all right. So Medal of Nero, World War II. All right. Obviously playing Call of Duty World War II. It's going to be a AAA game, and the higher your games, the more cost is going to be in there by default, right? So if I want to make it AAA, which I can do, I have more than enough money. But if I want to make it AAA, it's going to cost $10 million. If I want to make it like a small game, it's going to cost me nothing. Like if I were working in my garage, for example, a medium scope game, $150K, $1.5 million for a large game. We're going AAA. It's going to be in for mature. Now we got to pick our topics. Now, right now, there's a popular genre for RPGs. That's like what the video games industry wants right now, which is kind of how video games work in real life if you think about it. I mean, think back a couple of years, pretty much every game and their mother wanted to be futuristic and go into space. That was like the trend of video games at that time. And so right now the trend is RPG games. We're not making an RPG game. We're making a military shooter. There's so many topics. I think actually searching will make it easier. Yeah, so we'll go military here. And there are different low ratings. So one of the downsides to Game Dev Tycoon is it's actually kind of hard to get everything perfect. Like if you want to have a mature game, Dungeon is very good for that. It's M+++, which means it's really good for if you want to have a mature game, have it be a dungeon game. If you want an E for everyone game, have it be a fantasy game, so on and so forth, right? So we picked military. We can pick our genre. It's going to be a military action game as compared to being like a simulation game. I guess we can also make it a subgenre. So we can make it a military simulation game, although it's not really, Call of Duty is not a simulation, you know? Military strategy, it's not a top-down either. I think action-adventure, honestly, is probably the best idea. We could pick MMO, but we're not going to go ahead and do that. Now, I developed a bunch of systems back in the day, and one of them was the Nero box. That's right, the Nero box. So, of course, as a game developer that also has its own console, we're going to develop for our own console, but we're also going to put this game out on some other platforms. You look at these other platforms, if you want to make a game for PC players tend to prefer mature games. PlayStation 5 people tend to prefer E for everyone games. The Xbox Next, they really don't like M for mature games really whatsoever compared to these other platforms, right? So what I'm going to do is going to come out for the Nero box and PC. I'm not even going to bother. Okay. I think we're actually going to put it on the PlayStation 5 as well. There we go. We'll put it on all those platforms just so we have it actually being sold. You can also make your own engine, by the way, as you can see here. Yeah, I had a lot of different engines I went through. All right, and so we're going to pick Next Gen Nero as our engine. I don't even remember what's in there. And now we get to pick different aspects of the game. Do I want it to be the best graphics I can possibly do? Yeah, so we're going to do 3D graphics. Now, all these people, which, by the way, I manually hired all of these people here. If you caught the series, you remember Irene, you remember her. And so basically, they start putting together the game. It's going to take a little bit, and now you come to these decisions. You're in the first stage of development, right? And this is where Game Dev Tycoon gets confusing, because they don't actually clearly give you an indicator of like what's good and what's bad. The more you play, the more you get a feel for things, but you're mostly guessing when you're putting the game together, and as a result, you can try your best and think you did really good, and sometimes it'll be terrible. Other times, it'll be like a 10 out of 10 game. You never really know. So if in the development stage right now, we have to choose between allocating our time between the game engine, the gameplay, and story and quests. I think since it's a military action adventure game, there's no sense really whatsoever in working on the actual story and quest aspect of it. We're really going to be focusing on gameplay, number one, and actually we'll drop down engine here a little bit. We're going to make it so it's really focused on the gameplay. Maybe we should have a little bit of story and quest in there. You would think that we would, but with how Game Dev Tycoon works, you really don't want to start spending time with story and quest because that's just how the simulation actually works. You can also choose to have different people working on the staff, or different staff working on the game itself. Right now we have myself and Paul Reed working on it. But we're not going to really mess around with that too much right now. Some people are good at design, other people are good at tech. Again, that's one aspect of it that's actually kind of confusing. So we're just going to say that's fine for right now. That's going to be the first stage of development. It's basically myself and Paul Reed working on both the engine and the gameplay aspects. And as you can see here, it's starting to load up here rather quickly. If I remember correctly, this game also came out on mobile, and it's actually pretty successful on mobile. And I can see why. I mean, for a PC game, you wouldn't think this really needs... Oh, the reason why I lagged there for a second is because I was changing rooms. For a PC game, it's pretty bare bones. It is an indie game, after all. But I can see why this would actually be pretty successful on the mobile platform. Media Inquiry. Hi, this is Jorg Longer from Game Nova. I got word that NEROPOLIS is working on a new game. Would you like to share some information on your current project and do an interview about it? Yes, I would love to. That's called PR, and games have another factor in Game Dev Tycoon called hype, which is what we're going to be working on right now. So, what is your expectation regarding the success of Medal of Nero World War II? Do you think that the game will be well received? Of course! It's going to be huge! It's going to be wonderful. But of course, if you overhype a game, that can be bad as well. Now, if I remember right, there's something we can do. Hold on, let's try right-clicking. Let's click up here. Okay, we click up there. Marketing. Let's go into marketing. We can start working on advertising for our game here. We can do small campaign. Let's do a large campaign right now. Maybe it's better to do this towards the end of the game's development, but regardless, we're going to do a large marketing campaign right now, which is going to cost you more money, but can also get your game more hype and get more people potentially buying it. So we're going to work on that right now, and you can see the hype actually going up. I'm trying to explain how the game works while also trying to remember how the game works, because again, it's been over 3 years since I played this, but this used to be just part of my daily routine. Pretty much every day I would start working on a new episode. I would incorporate the feedback and the comments from the previous episode, and it was a lot of fun. All right, so here we are in development stage 2. We need to work on dialogue, level design, and artificial intelligence. I don't feel like artificial intelligence is really that big of a deal. I want this to be pretty much a multiplayer game, so level design needs to be a big aspect of it. Dialogue's not that big of a deal, and we'll put AI up here a little bit. All right, Wyatt Potter is our best tech guy, and it seems like it's good to have our best tech guy working on artificial intelligence. And as you can see here, we have some hints from previous games that we made as to how important these aspects are to the game itself. So plus means level design is pretty freaking important in a military action adventure game. Dialogue, minus, not very important, right? We know that for a fact. So we're going to drop this down, really not really work on dialogue. We're going to work on level design all the way up, and then have the rest of it be kind of working on artificial intelligence. But by and large, we really want to work on level design. And I suppose that means we have Wyatt right there. Is there a way for me to actually switch these around? There we go. I want Wyatt, who is my best tech guy. Wait a minute, level design. I would want my best design guy working on this. See, it's all coming back to me. All right, so Wyatt, we're having Paul do that, although Paul's going to get pretty burnt out after having worked on the game previously. Yeah, see, at 247%, it means he's pretty much burnt out. I've worked him too hard. So, all right, Clint, you're going to do that. And then Irene, who's not really good at anything, we'll have you working on the artificial intelligence a little bit. There we go. That way we're not burning people out too much. Paul's already a little burnt out, but I think we should be okay. And Clint's looking... Clint, you're going to be all right. You know what? Better yet, if we lower this just a smidge... Man, left all the way. All right, you know what, Clint? You're going to have to take one for the team here. I'm going to really need you to work hard on this. And here are different aspects we can actually add to the game itself. We could pay more money to have celebrity voice acting. We could have advanced body language. But I want realistic body language. There we go. Pretty much all the best things are already selected, I think. Yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue on now. The hype's still going up. I don't remember how much hype is good hype. I don't remember how much design is good design, how much technology is good technology. It's been a long time, but look at all the freaking bugs we have right now. Come on, team. Come on now. What's with all the bugs here? And that's my character down there, by the way. He's been working ever since the 1980s, and as you can see here, it is March 22nd of 2113. It's actually April 1st of 2113 now. So my guy's pretty much immortal. He's been around for a long time. It's like the great grandchild here, apparently. Okay, not really that many greats, but you know, you get the point. It seems that the market has normalized and there's no particularly strong trends at the moment. That's actually going to help me, because when there's a trend towards our RPG games, that makes it so it's harder for a game like a military action adventure game to actually be successful, right? So that actually helps me out just a little bit. All right, so now we're here in development stage 3. We need to work on graphics, sound, and world design, all of which are actually pretty important, with graphics being the biggest part. So how do we want to allocate this? So our best tech guy, I think we should have Wyatt here working on that. I think graphics is more of a technical thing as compared to no? World design is more of a design. I think graphics is more of a tech thing. And this is one of the things I'm talking about when I say that Game Dev Tycoon, while it's a lot of fun, it doesn't explain itself very well. Like, this is a question I don't think anybody really knows the answer to. Should you put a tech guy on graphics or a design guy on graphics? You really don't know. You have to guess. And if you guess wrong, well, you know, it's mostly just trial and error, and you never really actually have a concrete answer or anything like that. Jonathan Joseph, which is the name of a corner in the NFL, or at least he used to be. Does he still play? I don't know. And then we have Irene there. Irene's a little bit overworked. Clint, we can't have working on anything right now. Manuel Franklin, you know, instead of having Irene, you know, be burnt out, let's just put Manuel here. He's kind of like jack of all trades, not really good at anything, but he's decent at both things. There we go. Now I'm not burning my team out as much. This looks pretty good. We could increase this to make it so Wyatt is up to 100% and just really focus on the graphics as compared to the sound. We'll do it that way. Let's make sure all these things are here. Best sound be copyrighted sound. There we go. All the good stuff. Okay. And now we can continue forward. I hope this game's not a bust. All right, so E3 is here. It's actually called G3. You're going to notice everything. They don't want to, you know, infringe on any copyrights. So they mean E3, but they call it G3 the same way. Instead of calling it the Super NES, they call it the Super TES. You know, same idea pretty much. Of course, we're going to go with a large booth at this year's E3, 1.5 million, just to really get people talking about Medal of Nero World War II. Hopefully it's going to work out well for us, man. It'd be awesome if we could get a 10 out of 10. I don't think I've ever actually... Did I ever get a 10 out of 10? I don't remember. I'd have to go through and look at all the games. I'm not sure if there's actually a way to see your highest rated games. We'll see. So here is actually the E3 animation. It's actually kind of cool. So here's my booth. NEROPOLIS, you know, big publisher / video game maker / console maker. There's the Nero box right there. And so we had 6.4 million people visit us at this year's E3. Pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, #1 booth. Darn tootin'. I think we've been in #1 booth for like the past 100 years, if I'm being honest. So I think it's okay. Another thing though about this game is also you can mod it pretty well. And I kind of wish I wouldn't have modded it, because one mod made it so you could actually set a custom price for your game, whereas before the prices were predetermined by the game itself. And because of that, you could basically make a lot of money pretty quickly with that. Okay, so right now they're working on bugs. I can hit finish right now and publish the game like early, but if you wait, they'll fix the bugs. But you're also seeing they're all pretty tired and worn out at this point, and it's best just to get rid of all those bugs before we do anything. But the longer I wait, I think the more my hype is going to die down. We'll see. No? Okay, so bugs are gone. Okay, so they're still working on the game, right? They're still putting design points, still putting in technology points. There's no bugs whatsoever. If I keep waiting, the game's going to get a little bit better. But there may be some more bugs being added as well. Hold on, let's click this. Let's do marketing. Let's do a large campaign again, just to make sure. All right, now the hype's starting to die. We have to finish our game. The hype's starting to die down. I waited too long, but we have a lot of design points and a lot of technology points here. And here it's actually leveling up the various aspects of how good we are at doing these different things. That's leveling up me. This is leveling up the people that actually worked on the game, which makes them better at making games, less bugs, more design points, more technology points, stuff like that. I can choose to trash the game right now, but I'm not going to. I'm going to release the game and hope that it doesn't fail. First reviews of new release game Medal of Nero World War II have come in. Please be gentle. Ooh, 10? I saw a 10. No, 7, 6, 7. Oh, come on. 7. Beautiful, enjoyable, good game. Oh, they're giving me a solid 7, aren't they? Everyone gave a 7. All right, it's an above average game. It's above average. It's not the greatest game in the world, but it's above average, which I'd say that's what Call of Duty World War II is. So there we go. There we go. There's our new game. And now our game is going to start selling. Right? It's racked up over 1 million in sales, obviously. So it's racked up a bunch of sales already. There we go. Just keeps on increasing. You just got word that middle of World War II has racked over 5 million in sales. Look at it go. Look at it go. An exclusive interview a while ago, Player from NEROPOLIS, which my name's Player, by the way, because I didn't change my name at the very beginning of the series, made very bold remarks about their then-in-development game, Middle of World War II, predicting that would be uber successful. Now the game's out on the market, and the consensus is that Player was spot on, as the game has received very positive reviews. Overall, this had a positive effect on sales. I mean, a 7 out of 10 is not bad. I was hoping for like a 9, 9.5. Like, I wanted it to be like something wild, something crazy, you know, something really successful. Just got word that middle of World War II has racked up 10 million in sales. I mean, there you go. And as you can see, you make a ton of money there when your game is successful. And now my guys have really they're not working on anything, but they're all pretty burnt out. So I can talk to these guys individually. I can buy them a Red Bull, which I think would make it so they do a little bit better. I'm not sure, but we're going to send them on a vacation. Irene, get working on that game report, which so far is doing pretty well. Get working on that. I don't know why we always made Irene do it after every game pretty much. So we're going to send everyone else on vacation. And once she's done with her report, she will then go on vacation. Because these guys are all burnt out. You can't just go game to game to game to game to game. You know, you got to give your guys a little bit of a breather. See what's going on. Now, while we wait for her to go ahead and finish up that report, which it may actually take a while, let's check out the different aspects of my little headquarters here, right? So we have the R&D lab, which is basically not a very cool place. You can go here to make your own convention. That's pretty much it. And I think having your own convention will potentially increase hype for your upcoming games, which makes sense. Kind of like a BlizzCon. I call it NeroCon. But if we go over here, we have the hardware lab. And from here, we can actually develop a console or a computer. Now, I don't quite remember if this was actually built into the game or if this is something that is part of a mod I have installed. I think back in the day, I had to install a special mod to be able to build my own PC. You could only make consoles, I think, although I could be wrong about that. So I'm not entirely sure. Either way, I can build my own computer, and I think we're going to do that. Let's build. This is the final variation. I'm going to pick this one because it's basically just an image, and it's red and blue, the color of my two channels. We're going to call it the NeroWare 2 because, you know, Alienware, NeroWare. Let's turn up the quality assurance all the way up. We have more than enough money to spend 90 million for quality assurance. Let's not put out a shoddy PC. And here we can start working on everything. So at the time, Windows 8.1 was the most recent operating system that was available. So that's what we're gonna have to go with here. This is gonna be the operating system. I guess instead of Penguin, we're gonna go with Mavericks. Not really sure there's a big difference. This one costs like nothing whatsoever. This one costs 9 million. So guess which one I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with the more expensive one because I think it's going to help the PC. Here we're going to pick the processor. Do you want... They basically have to try so hard to make it so it's not copyrighted, but you can see the obvious references here. We're going to go with the i7 Extreme processor. It's going to be crazy. Here we have... I guess I just go with the most expensive aspect of it. Huh? Just go with that there. And then here's going to be the graphics card. Do I want it to be NVIDIA? Or do we want to go with like Radeon here? I'm an NVIDIA guy. I've always used NVIDIA graphics cards. My first ever one was the GTX 660. I was pretty happy about that back in the day, which was a pretty solid card, honestly. But yeah, we're going to go with the NVIDIA Titan, which apparently Titan was the newest one back then. There we go. How much RAM? 128 gigs. We're not messing around. We ain't going with 8 or 16. Oh, no. This PC is going to dominate. Let's just get the best hard drives we can possibly get in here. Wait a minute here. Do I want a 2 terabyte hard drive or do I want... I can't have both? Okay, so I want a solid state drive, but I also want to have a bunch of extra storage built in. I can't have both? All right, well, let's go with the SSD, I guess. And then this is going to be the case. And all these are references that I honestly don't get. I'm not that into PCs, but I'm sure you guys can pick up on what references these actually are. Honestly, I'm just going to go with the most expensive one. Queen Win Laser Platinum Series. There we go. And then, is it going to come with a keyboard? Razer. Oh, I guess it's because it has an O instead of an E. It's okay. The Black Widow Ultimate Elite. Wow. Wow, I actually have the... This is the keyboard I actually use, the Razer Deathstalker. The reason why I use it is because it's not mechanical. It's not clicky-clacky, which actually makes it so it's better for recording and stuff like that. Would that actually be best for our little PC here, though? I want to go with Razer. We'll go with the most expensive Razer one we can go with. And the Death Adder. That's the mouse I actually have. This is fantastic. But we'll actually go ahead and just go for the most expensive one here. The Ouroboros. Never heard of it. There we go. Man, this PC is going to come with everything, isn't it? That's the most expensive headset there. Actually, I'm not a big fan of Razer headsets, but I don't think they're having the Audio-Technica ones here. We'll go with Logitech. You know what? Actually, we're going Razer everything else. Let's go with this Razer headset. And now we start development of our NEROWare 2 PC here. And while we wait for that, Game Convention is coming up. Large booth, which is going to further promote Medal of Nero World War II, I suppose, since we're not actually working on a game. Irene, you're still not done. All right, the game's now off the market. It sold 20 million copies, and that does $377,039,512 in sales. I'd say it was a success. Poor Irene. Hold on here. I could just fire her. I can't give her a Red Bull to help her speed things along right now. Come on, man. I want to help her out just a little bit. Although she's almost done. It seems like when I'm in a menu, it kind of pauses what she's working on. So here's the game convention yet again. Another year has passed, and we've only put out one game, which is not exactly a good thing. Especially when the game first starts, you kind of have to put out a bunch of games, so make sure you're putting out a bunch of quality games. Otherwise, you're going to end up taking a loss on the majority of them, and you can, in fact, go bankrupt, which I think when I started off this series, but I was bankrupt by episode 6, and I had to start over. Something along those lines. So yeah, we had a bunch of people here visiting our booth yet again. There you go. It's complete. We got the following results. And by the way, doing the game report helps you out when making other games. So level design is quite important. So now we know that it's going to have like a ++ next to level design. And now we know military action adventure is a good combination, which I think we all knew that already. So we should try and focus the entire team on development of a game. Well, of course we should. We're not just going to sit here with our thumbs up our butt. We're actually going to be doing stuff here. But Irene, go on vacation, for crying out loud. You poor woman. You have to be exhausted. So I want to start working on a game, but I also want the game to release for the NEROWare 2. And that involves waiting a little bit for the NEROWare 2 to actually be developed. You know, what we could do is develop another game right now and then develop one final game for the NEROWare 2. The question is, what game do we start development on? NEROLANDS 3? We could work on NEROLANDS 3. Let's do that. Let's begin work on NEROLANDS 3. I am all about that. Let's go. Oh, we can also create a new game engine, but I don't think we really need to do that. If you're a smaller studio, you can have your own publishing deal. You can find contract work to make other people's games. It's a fun simulation game in that respect. Let's develop a new game. Actually, before we do that, I need to go ahead and check our history here, I suppose. So when it came to actually putting together NEROLANDS, it was a sci-fi action adventure. Okay, that makes sense. It was a 7.75 rating. Not exactly the best rating ever, but actually developed sequel. What am I doing? Develop sequel. I forgot we can even do this. And then we go over to NEROLANDS 2, so it's going to be a sequel to this game. It's going to be another sci-fi action adventure. Oh, that final game will be our 100th game. That'd be a great way to end it off. All right, so NEROLANDS 3. AAA game, and for mature, sci-fi action adventure. Coming out for the Nero box. Let's see. Wow, they really don't like... They like action games, but not adventure games in the Play system. On PC, they like everything here. So, you know, let's only develop for my console and the PC. Let's do it that way. But then again, the M box likes both action and adventure. All right, we're going to do it both ways. I'm not sure if it actually matters okay. Remove platform. There we go. And then there we go. I wanted to make sure the PC was like the second one. I don't know if it actually matters. There's our game engine from before. Best graphics we can do. And now we start development on NEROLANDS 3, which hopefully will be as good as Borderlands 3 is going to be in my head. I have big hopes for Borderlands 3. Although, I did do that video a while back, giving you guys my wish list. Excuse me, throat's getting dry. And there was a lot of positive feedback, and no one was like being rude or anything like that. Just people were giving their opinion. Not a lot of people agreed on the idea that we should be able to have like a bunch of other vault hunters running around inside of wherever the main city is. I think that'd be a cool idea, but you know, not everyone has to agree. Okay, so gameplay. See, here's the thing: we don't know how important the engine or story and quests are in a game like this. I feel like story and quests is actually very much a big deal in this. So we already know gameplay is kind of important. So let's put story and quests up here and put gameplay up to there. And also a trick is to not like burn out your people. So let's turn this down just a little bit. There we go. 100 for me, 100 for Paul Reed. And yeah, because I'm working on the engine and the story and quests. There we go. Interactive story or immersive? Yeah, we'll go immersive. Reactive quests, collectibles, simple quests, advanced quests. You know, we could go with simple quests, because honestly, Borderlands quests are not very difficult. A linear story or branching story. What one did I have picked? Immersive storytelling, which is going to completely change up the rest of that, huh? Okay. Game tutorial, character progression, skill trees, cooperative play. No, you can add cheat codes in, but you know, let's just take that out. Let's take out some stuff like that, just to see if it'll actually help. Premium content. I wonder. That's another thing about Game Dev Tycoon. I don't know if it helps or hurts. Should I just have as many features as possible, or should I actually pick and choose what actually goes into it? We can have a tutorial, better user experience, achievements, character. Let's just have the things that Borderlands has. Borderlands does have premium content, which is basically paid DLC. Mod support. There's no mod support in Borderlands, except for that, what's that stupid thing called? People use the mod in their weapons and stuff. I really dislike that. For me, okay, I don't dislike that people gibbed. That's what it's called. I don't mind that people use gibbed, but at the same time, it's like, it just takes away from it, you know? Like, I wouldn't want to do it personally. Advanced quests. All right, so there we go. It should be pretty good, I'd say. Advanced cutscenes, full motion video, all sorts of fancy stuff like that. There we go. So we can work on that, while at the same time, the hardware lab is working on NEROWare 2. And why not? Let's go ahead and start. Oh, and here's where I can actually change around the game price, as I said. The default is 18 credits. I can make it a $60 game or $18 game, whatever. We're just going to leave that at the default, because I feel like we already have enough money anyway. Let's go to Start Project. Ooh, marketing. Okay, so when you're actually working on a game, you can do an in-house marketing campaign for your AAA title. Okay. It's been a while. I'm sorry. I forget most of these things. I really do. But when you're first starting off, especially, what's cool is you have like all these different studios. You start off in your garage. You start going through these different studios and stuff until eventually, I think this is the final place you can actually get to. It's like the biggest one. Hi, this is Christopher Ragnell of eGaming Check. I got word NEROPOLIS is working on a new game. Would you be willing to share some information on your current project? Sure. What do I expect? Yes, I'm always gonna hype my game. You kidding me? But no, I'm gonna be modest. It's gonna be mediocre at best. Mediocre at best. Not really trying all that hard, you know. We're working on something special in the background. Not gonna say what, but it rhymes with Beeroware do. Oh man, this game's actually kind of a lot of fun. Part of me wants to like start a new playthrough of it, honestly. Like start back in the garage, like with no mods or anything installed, play the base game yet again, just see if we can actually be successful. All right, so dialogue apparently is not important at all in a game like this, and level design, of course, is. Artificial intelligence obviously is not really either. So here's the question. Well, again, is design level? Okay, so I think somebody with high design should work on that, but Paul's already done with that, so. We could put Clint back on this, but he's going to be super burnt out if we put too much on level design. So you know what? We're going to bump up the artificial intelligence with the hopes artificial intelligence is going to be a big deal. Dialogue, we have barely anything in that whatsoever because it's apparently not going to be that big of a thing. Celebrity voice acting, let's get some of that in there. Voiceover or celebrity voice acting. Huh, they cost the same. Let's do voiceover instead of celebrity voice acting, because I don't really like it when celebrities voice act things, because it takes me out of it. It's like, I recognize this voice. Like, who's that guy? And I'm sure you guys know who I'm talking about. I don't know his name, but he voiced Cat and Cat Dog. That's just the most like common like reference I can actually give for this guy's voice. He has been in so many freaking video games. I hear him all the time everywhere I go, and it bothers me. Like I spotted him in Fallout. I spotted him in the Elder Scrolls. I think it was Elder Scrolls. I forget. He's in like pretty much like every game. He has such a distinct voice that whenever he's in anything, it takes me out of it because I recognize that guy's voice. I don't picture it as the character's voice. I picture it as that guy who does all the voices voice, you know? No loading screens, bosses, swift loading. How can you have both? How can you have no loading screens and swift loading? Okay. Mini games. We'll get rid of mini games. Who likes those? Easter eggs, a level editor. We'll take that out, although it would be cool if Borderlands had a level editor. We'll take out all that stuff. There we are. All right, so we're getting pretty close here. I have my budget all the way up on NEROWare 2, which means it's going as fast as it can. I actually kind of like the R&D lab, too. It looks pretty neat. So what's going on over here? You guys are at work? Working hard or hardly working over here? You've been drawing on the same wall for years, and you haven't actually done anything. Both green screen there and everything. I like it. All right, so the hype's actually getting up there a little bit. Not as high as that. Okay, so here we go. Industry news. NEROPOLIS has released. Oh, it's already out? I didn't think it'd be released already. My NEROLANES 3 is not even coming out for it. The computer seems to really push the limits of technology and is the most modern computer to ever hit shelves. Looking at the features of the NEROWare 2, it seems that the list is a bit slim. Not a lot of features. Don't expect too many gadgets and equipment to be available for this computer. Well, it's just a computer is all. First tests indicate its build quality is excellent and it'll be likely be able to handle the pressure even from your heaviest games. All in all, we think this computer will stir up the market and prove to be very successful. I mean, I hope. But I didn't think it'd be done right away. I thought there'd be more phases, more research and development, maybe more features or something, a marketing campaign. I didn't think it'd come out right away because I'm making a game right now that's not going to come out for my platform that I just created, like for crying out loud. And all three of these things are important. Well, okay. Okay, well, how important? Wow, they're already even set to 100. Like, the game's, like, I pretty much have it set from the last time I made a game, I think. Not 100% sure. Let's see here. Advanced shaders, animated textures, interactive holograms. That's fancy. Soundtrack, orchestral. You always go regular soundtrack instead of orchestral. Open world, day and night cycle. Of course, we have to have the day and night cycle. I love that. Realistic weather, realistic plant life, rich backstory. All sorts of cool stuff there. Can I add this? There we go. Wait. Why is that? Okay, so it costs more, but the graphic percentage lowers. Am I getting rid of something to grab that? I don't think I am. Okay, we'll just take that. And should I just leave this as is? I feel like if I leave it as is, we're probably going to have another like 7 point something, like a 7 point something out of 10 game. So let's allocate a bit more into the world design itself. Wyatt is working on that. You know, let's switch Wyatt and yeah, let's do it this way. No one's over 100. Wyatt, who's our big tech guy. Actually, it's world design, so a design guy needs to be working on that, I would assume, right? I should really not have Paul Reed working as much on the first thing, because he's so good at design. Yeah, I have him working on like the very first thing, which is not very beneficial. So for a final game, we have to make sure Paul Reed's working on like one of these aspects. He's already done. I'm pretty much done. Yeah, it's going to have to be manual here. Because Jonathan Joseph is terrible at design. He's more good at tech, which sound seems like it might be more of a tech thing. Then again, sound design's a thing. I have no idea. That's why this game's confusing. Let's just say okay. We should be good. I would hope. We'll see. We have a lot of design points already. I've noticed games that have 1,000 design points and 1,000 tech points are typically going to do pretty well. And this one thing looks like it's going to exceed that pretty well. Time for E3 yet again. We're going to go with another large booth. Let's go over here. So, start a project, and we'll start our own game convention. And we're going to get all those people to go to that, which will hopefully hype it up here. Now, the E3's around, so we'll have E3. We'll have NeroCon. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, so that's a ton of design points. We're about to hit 1,000 in technology as well. We still have a bunch of bugs, but remember, after the game is like done, like we get rid of all those bugs, we keep on polishing the game, and the goal is to release it with the maximum amount of hype. We have 195 hype right now. All right. Oh, there we go. I was saying not as many people as last year, but a decent amount. There we go, 6.5 million. All right, so that gave us a bunch of hype there. Number 1 booth. Now, let's go ahead and start doing a large campaign as well. These are all things I hope will actually increase our hype. I mean, look at the design and technology. I don't remember what our personal records were for games back when this series was active. 1335. Come on, 2 more, baby. 2 more. There we are. Oh, we skipped 1337. All right, so the game does not have as much hype as like my previous ones. I think it's because I forgot to do a marketing campaign early on. We've completed organization of our own convention. All right, so does that mean, do I get to start the convention? I don't know if the convention just started or what's going on. So we got rid of the bugs. We're still putting in points. I'm trying not to release it with bugs, and bugs can be randomly thrown in pretty much. But look at all these extra points. We're really working here. Get rid of those bugs and we'll end it. All right, there we go. There we go. There's our game. I didn't want the hype to go down any more than it already is. Good management, apparently. Well, there we go. Look at me. I mean, that seems like a pretty good game, right? So I mean, we'll have to see. The thing is, I don't know like exactly how much points to put into level design versus dialogue and everything. You never know. Definitely in the last game that we do, we have to have Paul Reed working on it. Hey, Clinton leveled up. There you go, my man. All right. So here we go. Due to an increase in experience, he's received a raise. And yeah, by the way, the better your guys get, the more they actually cost per month. Like, you pay them, obviously. All right, so first reviews are in. Be gentle. Oh, I saw a 10. I saw a 10. All right, 8. All right, 8's okay. It's better than 7. Come on, give me a 9. 6. 6. Who do you got working for you over there at Informed Gamer? Are you kidding me? Wow, very mixed reviews. Very mixed. I mean, they're positive, but very mixed reviews. Wow. All right. Irene's a student. Yeah, it's selling well. All right, Irene, get working on that game report. Everyone else go on vacation. She has like most of her energy still, so this shouldn't take very long. NEROPOLIS recently released a sequel to their game NEROLANDS 2. The newest game in the series is titled NEROLANDS 3 and was met with great responses. I don't know if a 6 out of 10 is a great response, but all right, everyone, vacation. An exclusive interview a while ago, I predicted it to be successful, and now it's out, and I should be more careful as the final project doesn't match the hyped expectations. Overall, this had a negative effect on sales. No, I'm not looking to fire you. I'm looking to send you on vacation here. Come on. Send vacation, send vacation, send vacation. Let everyone rest up, I suppose. I don't think there's anything else I can even add. Yeah, if I look at the engine here, like, I have every possible thing I could put together. Like, we maxed out pretty much everything, which is one of the reasons why I stopped this series. I got to the point where we had so much money we can't even spend it all. We've made almost 100 games at that point. We maxed out the engine. We maxed out all the technology pretty much there in the game. So they got to the point where there really wasn't much left to do. And I took a couple days off from posting it. And that a couple days led to a couple weeks until eventually I just stopped posting to this series in general. And then suddenly 3 years went by and here we are doing this episode. So that's why, if you're wondering, I think I explained it pretty well early on, but that's the reason why this series just kind of abruptly ended. It's because we've done everything there is to do in this game pretty much. All right. So these guys are still working on stuff. I'm waiting for Irene to finish up that report and waiting for, I guess, all these guys to get back from vacation as well. And then we're going to begin work on our final game. It annoys me that it pauses every time I want to look at stuff like this, because I want to work on a game. I haven't had a banger in a while. The best I've gotten is an 8. NEROLANDS 2, Nero Effect, 8.25, Nero the Builder, a construction simulation game. Go Fast Car Game Remastered had 8.75. That game has 6. Nearthstone had 7.75. Nable, get it, Fable, 7.75. South Park, The Stick of Nero, 7. 6.25. 7.25. 7.95. And 8. And 8. And 8. Nero Dev Tycoon 100 years. I think that came out for like the 100. Yeah, it was in the year 101. We put that out there. This was like the 100-year anniversary of our studio being out. Wow, when's the last time I got it? Wow, Grand Theft Nero sucked. It was a life action adventure game, but I imagine that's why. Nero Z standalone. That game's still in alpha, by the way. 6.25, 8, 3.5, 3.25, 3.5. When's the last time I got a 9 on a game, for crying out loud? I made a mobile game called Flappy Nero 2. That means there's also an original Flappy Nero. World of Nero's Online. Wow. 9.75. What a masterpiece that game was. I think you can get a 10 out of 10, but this is as close as I ever went. So this was, I guess it's Elder Scrolls. It was like an Elder Scrolls Online / WoW game. It's a fantasy RPG. Wow. So do we make a World of Nero's 2? I think we do. A fantasy RPG. That seems something we could do pretty well. Assassin Cinema Nero Hood. Irene's Fall. You may name after Irene. Nero Fall. This is supposed to be Titanfall. It's a military action game. Yeah, so I think we come out with a new World of Nero's game. World of Nero's the final something. It'll be our final game. And the thing is, you can actually make MMOs in this. And what's cool about MMOs is they're constantly updated. You can add expansion packs and stuff like that. Should our final game be a regular fantasy RPG? Like a Skyrim? Or should it be an Elder Scrolls Online? You know what? I'm going to take that actual real-life example and put it into practice here. Skyrim is widely considered, I think, to be one of the best games out there, at least to a lot of people. It's a really good game. Elder Scrolls Online is also a good game, but it's an MMO, and therefore it's not the same as Skyrim. Therefore, people don't like it as much as they like Skyrim, right? The same thing can be said of Fallout. Fallout's a great game. There's so much you can do in Fallout, but if they were to come out with like a Fallout MMO, it might be successful, but it's not going to be, people aren't going to like it as much as like a regular Fallout game, I don't think. Because there's so much you can do in a regular Fallout game because it's your own game. You're not worried about, other players or game mechanics that are specific to MMOs or anything like that. You just play your game and do your thing. So we're going to make another World of Nero's, but it's going to be a medieval RPG. It's not going to be an MMO. It's going to be hopefully a perfect game. We'll see. Story and quests are not important in that style of game. It's all we learned. Well, thank you, Irene. Send you on vacation. She does her job. She does it well. So we're going to try that out. By the way, there's a bar here. This is an add-on. I don't like this at all. It's like cut in half. The text doesn't fit on the screen. It's just weird. All right. So Steam simulation games. No. We can't have simulation games being popular right now when I'm about to put out the world's greatest fantasy medieval RPG. We can't be having that. I wonder how long in the future I'd have to wait for that to actually go away. All right, so where's World of Nero's? Anything worth making is worth making twice. The Nero Scrolls Online. Okay, so that was my first. That's like my Elder Scrolls Online game. That didn't actually do all that well. Nero Scrolls 6, Nero Hill. Yeah, we had a bunch of Nero Scrolls games. Nero Kart. Neromon Blue. Flappy Nero 2. All right, World Nero's Online. It was just a fantasy RPG. Nothing fancy. All right. All right. Here's the question. Do I wait for the popular game genre to go away? Do I bide my time? Ladies and gentlemen, that is the question. Do I bide my time to either Near Lines 3 is off the market, it sold 11 million copies, and got $200 million in sales. Okay. Not bad. Not a bad game. I feel like, our game convention is taking place in 4 weeks. Okay, well, time to start developing a new game. Game number 100, ladies and gentlemen. The final game here for this series. Actually, since it's a fantasy game, we're going E for everyone on this. It's going to be a AAA game. Wait a minute. I'd have to develop a sequel to it. Hold on here. Develop sequel. This is going to be the 100th game that we've done. Now we have to go all the way over here. I'm sitting here trying to remember all the things that we had as part of that original game. Nero Field Hardline. Oh. Why? Halloween, The Curse of Nero. I love the names of all these games, man. I'm just saying. They're hilarious to me. All right. Continue on over this way. Nero Fall. L.A. Nero. Jimmy John's Dungeon Adventure Remastered. That did much better than the original game. Nero Stone. World of Neros. Wait a minute. So the original World of Nero... There was an original World of Neros that came out. That had an 8.5 rating. Oh, no. Okay. I think World of Neros Online was actually an MMO. Okay. That actually makes sense. So I went back and looked. The World of Neros game and the MMO sequel, they were both M for mature fantasy RPG games. So we are going to go M. We are going to have a fantasy RPG, no subgenre whatsoever. And the platforms are going to be PC, the NeroWare, although it doesn't really have that much of a market share. But regardless, we're going to put it out for that platform, I think, anyway, just because it wouldn't make sense for us to have that. But then again, if the NeroWare is just an off-brand of PC, do we really need to make our game actually come out for it? Would it make sense to do it on a different system? Like, for example, they love these RPG games on the PlayStation 5. They also like simulation games quite a bit. You know what? PC, NeroWare, M-Box next. There you go. They like adventure games. They like RPG games. They're not really big on them for mature, though, too. Ah, this is rough. You know what? I think maybe we just put out for PC and NeroWare. The Nero box doesn't appear to actually even be a thing anymore. Maybe it's too outdated. You know what? We'll put it out for those two platforms. And put it out on next gen. AAA. Wow. Almost did that as a small game. That would have been terrible. We'll do the best graphics we can do. And let's begin development. Let's hope this is going to be as good as it was back in the day. And also hope that we don't actually mess it up that much. The story and quest is a pretty big deal. Plus. All right, we put all of our aspects into there. But story and quest, is that a design decision? Or is that a tech decision? I think it's actually design. So we're actually going to put Paul here. Or do we? I think we put Paul there. And gameplay is also pretty important. All right, so we drop engine down. Gameplay is important. But the story and quest, that's the big seller, right? But we don't want Paul to burn out. If we don't want Paul to burn out, we put gameplay up right there, which is almost like there in the middle. But I think what we do is we burn... Do we actually... Is it really bad to burn someone out that much? I don't think it actually is. There we go. We'll put it down here to 110. That seems like a good idea to me. We'll do it that way. We'll accept that. And now we just kind of wait as the games go on. I kind of feel weird for... Oh, there we go. I'm actually showing Nerolands 3 at our convention. That's fine. That's fine. It kind of feels weird not releasing on any console platform, only releasing on PC, essentially. But releasing on our PC and PC itself. That's like where our players go. And we can't have it come out on our PC as well as regular PC and come out on both the Xbox and the PlayStation. We have to pick between the two. And here at NEROPOLIS, we are not about that console exclusivity. We don't like that. It's either both consoles or no consoles, right? Right? I'm sure I'm being a hypocrite right now. I think I've already developed games for one console, not the other. But regardless, For the final game here, it's PC and NeroWare only. There we go. Although, again, it does feel kind of weird to not really... I got to type this game up a little bit. It feels weird not to release on console, which may actually hurt sales. We'll have to see. But we're going to do a marketing campaign right now. This is our final game, man. This is a big deal. I mean, everyone working hard on this. We got Paul Reed working on the important aspects of it. Hi, I'm Curtin Gillen of Gamers. Do I agree to an interview? Yes. Okay. Oh, question. Many of our readers are curious about what decisions go into making video games and how companies prioritize development areas. Your new game is a fantasy RPG. Can you tell us what would be more important, AI intelligence or story and quests? Obviously, story and quests are more important in a medieval, like a fantasy RPG. So, all right. There we are. I mean, that one was pretty obvious. In a recent interview... Oh, wow, this is a long one. In a recent interview with NEROPOLIS, we discussed their upcoming fantasy RPG game and asked company founder Player... I wish I would have named myself. How different development areas are prioritized. In the interview, Player said that story and quest is of particular importance for such a game, and it seems other industry professionals agree with this. Every game development project has limited resources, so it's important to use the time most effectively. I mean, obviously, that's literally the whole point of... that's what Game Dev Tycoon is time management and allocating the right resources to the right area. The only downside to this game is sometimes you're just confused about what is the right thing to put in the right area. So it looks like dialogue is very important in a game like this. AI is not, and level design is also pretty important. So I think we bumped it up like this. But let's see here. So I think dialogue's definitely a design thing, right? So we have Clint. Who's better, Clint or Irene? All right, so Clint's the second best designer here behind Paul, who's like our man among boys there with his design points. So we put Clint there, have Clint work on the design there. Then Irene's going to work on the level design, which design is probably design, right? And she's the second best. So just bump this up to... Clint's a little bit burnt out, though. So have them both be 100. They both seem pretty important. We don't know for a fact that dialogue is, 3 pluses, but it seems that way. So we'll put them both at 100. Not really work on artificial intelligence really whatsoever. It's not as important, and we'll be good. I wonder if it even matters. Level design 90%. I don't understand what that percentage thing actually means. Like, if I just 50%, why is it going down? I don't understand. Okay, so self-learning AI companions, better AI. Well, what's the point of having better and superior? So I guess we just get rid of the better, right? I have no idea. Simple body language, advanced body. Oh yeah, we had realistic body language. Okay. Well, we don't really... You know what? It's my final game. Let's add everything that we can anyway. Let's just have everything be in there. Now let's continue on. The hype's going up. It's not giant, though, Okay, so you guys, start project. Yeah, we need a marketing... Do we need a marketing campaign right now? Yeah, screw it. Marketing campaign right now. We can only have one of them going at a time. Okay. We'll have the marketing campaign going right now. I'm gonna be heartbroken if our final game number 100, has a rating of like a 5. I really want this game to be I want it to be good. I want this to be wildly popular, right? I don't know. It's got a lot of design, not a lot of technology. But that's because we're focusing so heavily in the design of the game as compared to like artificial intelligence and stuff like that. But we are getting closer towards the end of the development here. Okay, so world design is obviously important. Graphics are obviously important as well. So we're going to put world design up pretty high. I want the world to be, this being our final game, I want this to be a world that people are going to be able to run around and explore for years and years and years to come. Okay, so who's working on the actual world design itself? Manual. He's got 303. He seems like he's the best final guy for like the design job. So we'll give that to him. Then we got Wyatt here, who's our tech guy, who could be working on graphics, which I'm not sure if tech would be graphics or design. That's the confusing part about this entire thing. if I put Wyatt on graphics, and graphics are actually tied to technology, then the graphics, that's actually really good. But if they're tied to design, he's the worst possible person I could put in there for that. You know? I feel like graphics are more of a design thing, right? I mean, obviously there's a lot of technology that goes into making good graphics, like lighting and stuff like that. It's hard, but if you're talking about the actual art style and the feel of it, that's more of a design thing. That's what I'm saying. You don't know these things. That's what makes developing games so freaking hard. Might be better just to put Jonathan Joseph on it. Have him do the graphics. And then we have all that. But then we have Wyatt essentially doing nothing besides working on sound. You know what? We're leaving Wyatt there. We're going to leave Wyatt there. We're going to drop this down a bit. And Manuel's looking a little like he's going to be a little bit tired. So we're going to bump up the graphics a bit because the graphics are going to be a big deal, I think. And let's make sure we have the stuff here. Orchestra soundtrack. I like that. Surround sound. Wait, did I have basic sounds on instead of surround sound? What's wrong with me? And realistic everything. Okay. Well, just make sure you can't have both. Okay. Well, there we go. There's development stage 3, I suppose. You guys need to hurry up with this marketing campaign over here, for crying out loud. We got all sorts of fancy, cool things about to be going on here. We're about to have a lot of design points in this game. Lots of bugs as well. A ridiculous amount, but what are you going to do? What are you going to do? All right, it seems the market has normalized. All right, market has normalized. But I wonder, does that mean the hype's going to go up even faster now that the market's normalized? Like, I wonder if because there was like this trend towards simulation games that my game was not getting as much hype as it normally would. Like right now, if I do marketing, do I just do another, can I do a, is that another large campaign or did I just like redo the same thing I've already done? All right, they're both over 1,000. Design is at 1,600 for crying out loud. That's incredible. Okay, so the R&D lab's done, which means I think our convention's ready to go. We're just getting rid of them bugs right now. On here, marketing. Am I able to do another campaign right now? I did. Okay. Can I do it? Okay, so how many of these campaigns can I do? Okay, so we're spending a lot of money to do this, and it increases ever so slightly. We're just gonna hype this game till no end. I guess I could in theory just do this infinitely until this game has all the hype in the freaking world, but I'm not gonna do that. That'd take forever. Okay, we're dropping bugs, getting our points. Okay, so what's going on over here? Are you guys start project? We can start our own convention. That's all fine and dandy. What happened to the? Oh, I guess that was the marketing thing. We actually have our own convention before. Okay, so we're working on stuff. Come on, marketing. Let's do another campaign to try and keep that hype up. I want to see if we can try and combine the release of this game with our own convention. With NeroCon, you know? We might have to... Nope, it's dropping. It's dropping. Okay, hype was dwindling, so we had to stop it. That's a new record for design, which I assume is associated with gameplay. All right, so that's in terms of design anyway. It's the best game we've ever made, and also has 1,200 in technology. It should be good, right? I think we're gonna live or die by Wyatt Potter there, our tech guy, working on graphics. Either it was a really good decision to do that, or it was a terrible decision to do that, and we're about to find out. The first reviews of our newly released game, World of Nero's The Final Chapter, came in. I'm scared. An 8? All right, that's not bad for the first one. Come on, hit me with a 9. Don't hit me with a 7. Don't break my heart. Don't break my... Oh, you're breaking my heart over here. 8? 8? All right, another 8. Come on, hit me with a 9. Hit me with a 9. No. 7! Poured my heart and soul into that game, I did. But I think ultimately it was probably the graphics situation. And if we could have waited just a smidgen longer for E3, I suppose. I guess like actually lining things up with the release is actually probably going to be a pretty big deal as well, huh? World of Nero's Final Chapter has met with great responses. because it's a fantastic game. I just wish somehow it would have been like a perfect 10 out of 10. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? They have to give me a little news thing every time it hits like some sort of milestone in terms of sales. But ladies and gentlemen, that is pretty much going to be it for... Oh, you're just now completing that. That's going to be pretty much it for... can't click OK for some reason. For this episode, as well as the Game Dev Tycoon series. I know it's been over 3 years since the last episode, but I wanted to come back today and do a proper conclusion. Talk about my thoughts, feelings on the game as a whole, and if they were to release a Game Dev Tycoon 2, I would be more than happy to play it, honestly. But Greenheart Games, who developed this game right here, they are actually working on another simulation game, but it's nothing like Game Dev Tycoon. It's actually called, I think, Tavern Keeper. Basically, you're going to run and manage a tavern in like a medieval fantasy world and such, which actually sounds pretty interesting. I just hope that it does a better job of explaining itself than Game Dev Tycoon did, because as I said, like, there's so many aspects of this game that are just so confusing and you have no idea like what you're really getting into. Like, for example, on that final game where we had Wyatt working on graphics and we had no idea if it was actually good to have a design guy or a tech guy actually working on graphics. It's just the game doesn't make itself it's not very clear in that respect, but for what it is, which is a very cheap indie game, I got, I think, over 24 hours of playtime out of this. I posted now 60 total videos with it. I had a lot of people enjoying this series, got to interact with you guys a ton, and so, by and large, I love this game. This game was awesome. I had a lot of fun with it, and I'm happy to see it finally having a proper concluding episode. You know, we're finally done with it. You know, it's the series is over and we can move on. No more wondering, will Nero ever post another episode of that playthrough? Well, now we know. Here's the final episode. What we're actually going to do here is wait until... Oh, now we want casual games, do we? So I need to make a mobile game real quick. You know what, Irene? Just go on vacation. Just go on vacation. We don't need that game report. I'm about to send you all on a somewhat permanent vacation. I'm not going to fire them. I'm just going to end off the game. I'll always have my save file right here. What I'm actually doing now is I'm waiting to see... Oh. What's happening right here? How do I make this go away? It won't go away. Uh-oh. So I think this is actually... Oh, there we go. I think this is actually a... one of the mods I got from the Steam Workshop that I had to reinstall. And yeah, so now I can't actually do anything because that's in the way. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen. So what I did is I restarted the game to get rid of that little menu right there. And when I rebooted, now suddenly the game is like on permanent pause. Like pretty much everybody is gone. Nothing's really happening. I can't actually interact or do anything. Like I can try to go down here and like generate a game report or something like that. Can't actually do anything. I have no idea what's going on. I'm sure there's a way to actually fix it. But for right now, I'm not going to bother with it. I'm just going to end off the episode here. And that is going to be the conclusion of the Game Dev Tycoon playthrough. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. And if you would like to check out the other episodes from 3+ years ago, feel free to do so. There's a link to the playlist down there in the description. You can watch every episode starting from episode 1. And if you liked what you saw here today, you'll probably enjoy this Let's Play. But once again, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Drop me a rating. And I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.